Most of the intelligence community doesn't believe he exists. The ones that do call him the Winter Soldier. He's a ghost. You'll never find him.
I joined S.H.I.E.L.D. to protect people. Captain, to build a better world, sometimes means tearing the old one down. And that makes enemies. He's fast. Strong. Had a metal arm. Are you ready? All it takes is one step. People are gonna die. I can't let that happen. Captain America needs my help. When do we start? We just did. The price of freedom is high. And it's a price I'm willing to pay. You told me not to trust anyone. This is how it ends. Everything goes.
Looks like you're giving the orders now, Captain.
Damn right.
Hey guys, Adam here, and welcome to another On the Couch Rewind. So I am late on this. What am I late on? Captain America: The Winter Soldier re-review. Like I said, I'm late on this because because I was busy. It was finals week. I had a bunch of other shit to do. So I decided I needed to take some time off to work on that, and now I'm finishing it up. So last year I did my review for Winter Soldier when it first came out, and I loved it. 10 out of 10 straight up. Same thing here. There are some things I did want to talk about though. I'm gonna try and keep it shorter this time around, hopefully. Hopefully not as short as my first Avenger re-review, but definitely short enough to where it's not almost an hour. So the plot is, as everyone knows, Captain America, Steve Rogers, is still integrating into today's world. He's currently working with S.H.I.E.L.D. Because he really has nowhere else to go. And one day he witnesses Nick Fury get killed by a shadow assassin called the Winter Soldier. And as he's on the run from S.H.I.E.L.D. trying to uncover Fury's death, he uncovers a conspiracy of something that is happening, a conspiracy within S.H.I.E.L.D. itself. And so he gets the help of Black Widow and Falcon in order to stop this threat, this old threat, and this new threat, the Winter Soldier. And as I said in the last review, this is the movie that really changed the cinematic universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This really changed the status quo, basically. This was it. This is what changed the status quo for how they were going to do the Marvel films. Excuse me, it's late. And I'm glad for that. It was a nice change of pace from the usual, let's save the world and nothing changes, really. but there were changes for these characters, or for these movies, and it definitely, the impact was there. The impact was there, and here's another reason why. I mean, or I should say, you felt the impact even after this movie, because right after this movie came out, we had the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode that revealed Hydra had infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, it was all over the place, and the whole Hydra being having infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. became popular. It became a meme. Everyone was like, all hail Hydra and shit, which is perfect. Hell, even I want to do something that involves the Hydra conspiracy, and I'll probably do it soon when I can. But yeah, I am tired. But and that's something I really love about this movie, is it has impact. It impacts. It wants to leave an impact on the rest of the universe, I should say. Now, I mean, yeah, Avengers left an impact. It did, because it gave us a new status quo. But here, this gave us another one. Sorry. It gave us a new status quo, which is not everything is all that it seems. Not everything is black and white either. And I love that. It definitely feels like a Marvel universe, because that is kind of how the comics are, is that it's not all black and white with some things. Now, on the characters, of course, Captain America being one of my favorite superheroes, like third favorite, next behind Superman and Batman. God, I love Captain America. I do. One of the reasons why is because he's, like Chris Evans said in an interview in the first Avenger, he's good for the sake of being good. And he's right. That's just something we don't see much in superhero movies. Like, it's all about the anti-hero, or the dark brooding vigilante, or the dark brooding superhero. No one wants a Boy Scout anymore, and which is really sad, because that's what I like. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the vigilante, I love the anti-hero. Hell, my favorite genre is 1940s pulp comics. I mean, I grew up with The Shadow and the Phantom, those kinds of guys, but I really love the Boy Scout, because he sets an example for everyone to do the right thing, something that everyone can aspire to, and I really admire that. That's why I love Captain America so much. Is he never is that he's willing to sacrifice himself, but he will never sacrifice anyone else, nor will he sacrifice his integrity. And that's what I admire. He has stayed good through and through. Scarlet Witch, on the other hand, she's a spy. That's what she is, and Scarlett Johansson plays her beautifully. She does a lot better at. I think it has to do more with the writing this time around, because she does feel more like a character here than she did in previous films. Here she's much more wisecracking. She's much more wisecracking. She a little more laid back. But that's probably just because she's usually teaming up with Captain America, so she can do that sort of thing, because she doesn't have to worry about doing the mission on her own anymore. Sorry. And not to mention, she still like has her dramatic moments. Where she does feel conflicted with herself even before or after she finds out Hydra has infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. for decades. She starts to feel conflicted as to whether she should be a spy or not, or whether was she a spy for the right reasons or not. And I like this because it develops her character from being a spy to being a hero, while still keeping her talents up being a spy, because that is who she is. She's a spy. And those are her talents. Her talents are looking sexy to trick the bad guy, and then kicking their ass after getting information and whatnot. That's her. But she's going to be much more heroic this time around. She's becoming much more heroic this time around, and we'll get more of that in Age of Ultron. Falcon, Sam Wilson, in the comics he's a pimp. In the comics he's a pimp. That Captain America meets up with, convinces him to become a superhero. He starts talking to birds and shit. Here he is an airman who already had the Falcon suit. And honestly, I'm perfectly fine with that. I do like that because, one, it gives us... we're introduced to Sam Wilson very early, where he meets Steve, and that's one thing I love about this movie is the opening, which is a very nice, quiet opening of Cap and Sam meeting for the first time, just jogging around the pond in Washington near the Lincoln Memorial. I'm sorry guys, I can't even remember the name of the pond. Just comment below. Just leave a comment and let me know what it is, what it's called. But Sam Wilson is a bit like Cap. He does things because it's the right thing to do. He became a counselor for the VA. Because he wanted to help soldiers with post-traumatic stress, with PTSD, because he felt like he should give back to people, and again, that's something I admire. I'm not a military guy myself, but people like that I had nothing but mad respect for. Even though I can never experience what they experience, but like something like that, giving back, like not just choosing to serve their country and other people without having to pick up a gun. I really do admire that because they can prove that soldiers are more than just people meant to go out to war and whatnot, but I'm trying not to get political here. Even though this is actually a political thriller. But yeah, Sam Wilson is very much like Steve. Like I said, he does things because he thinks it's right. He loves his country very much. He's an aspiring person. And and he's very funny. He's a very funny guy. And that just has to do mostly with Anthony Mackie, who is goddamn hilarious. He's just a lot of fun in the in films or in the movies. Like some of the movies I've seen him, he's great in. I love Anthony Mackie. He's like I've seen him in a few movies, and I'm just like, you know what? He needs an Oscar. Actually, no, I think he was nominated for one. I think. And of course, Sam Jackson finally gets the big role he needs for these movies. Which is basically him being the catalyst of the whole thing, of this whole conspiracy. Because he knew something was up with this project, Project Insight, but he wasn't entirely sure, so he went behind S.H.I.E.L.D.'s back. He did some dirty stuff in order to uncover it. And again, that's who Nick Fury is. He's a spy. He is, well, as Tony Stark would say, he is the spy. His secrets have secrets. And he's willing to do anything to protect the world, even if it means faking his own death, even if it means almost compromising jeopardizing a mission, a rescue mission, because he needed Black Widow to download some, to save some S.H.I.E.L.D. intel from a ship. Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes. Let me go ahead and get this one. He is the reason why I was excited for a Captain America movie. When Bucky was cast, I knew immediately, this is where they were going to go with this. They had to go with this. They had to go with Winter Soldier as the next movie, and I was fucking right. Like, he is... and Sebastian Stan is Bucky Barnes. Like, yeah, he's not... Yeah, in the last movie, he wasn't the teenage sidekick, Robin-like sidekick that... in the comics, but here he's treated more. But in the first movie, he's treated more like a partner than a sidekick, and I like that because it gives their friendship a little more meaning. And here, I mean, the storyline for Bucky's story in this movie is more or less the same for in the comics. And I've talked about that before in my last review, but goddamn do I love Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes. He is just menacing hell when he's wearing the mask, and like the Sub-Zero mask, and minus the goggles. It's like you could just look in his eyes. Those are the eyes of an assassin. Like he's a very intimidating motherfucker, but at the same time he's also kind of a wounded puppy, especially when he's realized when he starts to remember who he is. He used to like it's kind of like that, but he's brainwashed, so so it's understandable why he did the terrible things. So other characters. Robert Redford as Alexander Pierce. Now, I'm gonna say it right now. I kind of knew he was gonna be the bad guy of the movie. For one thing, he's Robert Redford. Usually, I do see him as the good guy, but I mean, in this day and age, he's got that suave cockiness that can make him be a villain. But at the same time, he's like that villain you can kind of get behind, in a way. And I think, unlike Red Skull, which in first Avengers, or in the first Captain America, you were gonna need a straight up evil villain. But in this one, you're gonna need a villain that you can kind of understand why he's doing this. Think of it this way. Think of it as like Captain America is the assassin, is an assassin from Assassin's Creed, and Hydra are in today's Hydra are the Templars. Assassins fight for freedom of choice. Templars fight for peace and security at the cost of mankind's free will. That's how I see it. And even though I don't agree with the Templars, and I sure as hell don't agree with Hydra, I can understand why they're doing it. Because it does make sense. Here's the same thing. Here's the same thing with Alexander Pierce. He's just kind of going about the wrong way, and he knows it, because he feels like heroes are the threat. The heroes are the threat. Iron Man's a threat. Stephen Strange is a threat. The Hulk is a threat. Basically, anyone who opposes Hydra is a threat to their world order. They are there to conquer the world. That is how they will achieve true peace in their mind. And he plays it beautifully in this. And, I mean, and again, like I said in my last review, I love how he just kind of goes when he's outed as a Hydra agent. He just like, yeah, I'm Hydra. Hail Hydra, bitches. Don't care. By the way, now, what are we gonna do about this predicament? I mean, that's pretty much Robert Redford's character. But he seems like a cool enough guy. He's charismatic enough. I mean, hell, he's Robert fucking Redford. Of course, he's charismatic. He's very charismatic. Frank Grillo as Crossbows, Brock Rumlow. I really do like Frank Grillo. I do. Like, I even praised him in The Purge Anarchy, which I had a ton of fucking fun with. And I swear to God, man, if he wasn't already in playing Crossbones, he would have been excellent as the Punisher. Honestly, I think he would be the best Punisher. I really do. But I am perfectly fine with him as Crossbones. I'm perfectly fine with him as his character. Now, in the comics, he's a neo-Nazi. Here, he is a strike shield agent, which, again, I'm perfectly fine with. It makes sense considering it's mostly about Captain America bringing S.H.I.E.L.D. down because of Hydra. So it makes sense why he is why he is working in S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatnot. But goddamn, like Frank Grillo needs to star in more movies. Needs to be a leading man in more movies. Like, I mean, yeah, he's not a leading man in this, but goddamn, does he deserve more than what he gets? He really does. Emily Van Camp as Sharon Carter, and yes, it's Sharon Carter. They basically said it. She was, I've already said my piece about her. I thought, honestly, the more I watch it, the more I think she's okay in it. Like, she's not in it enough to really make me care, but because she is Sharon Carter, I know she's gonna hook up with Cap, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Emily Van Camp is a fine actress. I wish she wasn't in Revenge, but then again, Revenge has been canceled, thank God. So now that that's been canceled, maybe she can focus on, maybe she'll appear on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., who knows. I would be perfectly fine with that. Have her wear her classic white jumpsuit. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, the Emily Van Camp, she's adequate in this. She's serviceable in it. I mean, when they said that they were gonna bring in, they were gonna cast the female lead, they kind of fucking lied to us, because she's not the female lead. Scarlett Johansson is the female lead. Now I want to get on to the main, like, the character I love the most in this besides Cap. Like, well, Cap and Bucky I love the most in these movies, but Toby Jones as Arnim Zola, dear fucking God, is he chilling in this. He is. The brief amount of screen time he is in this, he is terrifying. He is chilling in this movie. And you don't even see his physical form. Well, you do later in the movie, but those are flashbacks, and I'm not counting those. But like, his main appearance is basically him, his face in a computer, on a computer screen with a camera on top. Pretty good nod to his robot outfit, which I'm glad they didn't put in. For this kind of movie, it would not have worked at all. It just would not have worked for this kind of movie. But Arnim Zola, Toby Jones he just gives a very chilling performance. And all he basically is there for is exposition and the big Hydra reveal. That's all he's doing. He's just giving exposition, and he does it in a way that makes you go, "Oh shit, Hydra is still a threat. This is real. This is actually happening." And honestly, you know what? I have no problem with exposition if, one, it's acted well, and two, it gives you it gives you it gives off emotional weight to that exposition. And they do it here wonderfully, because all he's doing is just basically saying, "Oh yeah, we've been Hydra's been growing inside of S.H.I.E.L.D. for like 70 fucking years. We've killed off some of your buddies, like Howard Stark, and your best friend Bucky, he's the Winter Soldier. He killed Fury, so good luck to you." That's basically Arnim Zola, just more shit your pants terrifying. I mean, although he also looks like Tim Curry's character in Captain Planet, except, his character on Captain Planet was the most intimidating villain in that fucking show. Anyway, one thing I really want to praise about this movie, though, is not just the cinematography, which really does give off that vibe of classic political thriller look, just the wide shots, the sporadic sporadic action, which I'm glad they don't do like excessive shaky cam crossed in with editing, because that is fucking annoying as hell. I hate that. I really hate that. but the action is, it, like, when it has to be fast paced, it feels fast paced, but you can tell what's going on. You can tell what is happening in this movie, in the scenes, because I mean, when the action is happening, the camera moves, but it's steady enough to know what the fuck is. You can tell what the fuck is going on, but it still has a fluid motion. It flows beautifully, and special effects wise, it's really good because most of it is practical. A lot of it's practical. Most of the fight, like about 90% of the fight scene, or 99% of the fight scenes are practical. It's actual people fighting. It's not fucking CGI. The fight between Captain America and Batroc, that was happening. That was actually real. That was like Chris Evans and George St. Pierre actually fighting, or even or St. Pierre fighting Chris Evans' stunt double. Hell, I mean, now granted, St. Pierre can't do backflips and whatnot, so they had a double for that. But still, it's done in a way you know these guys are actually fighting. There was no CGI in it whatsoever. Hell, even the car chases is all practical. Excuse me. And again, they're shot well. They're shot like actual car chases instead of like sporadic edits per second. Like an edit per second, to where you don't know what's going on. It's fast, the editing is fast paced, but it's done right. It's done correctly. Alright, post-credit scenes. The mid-credit scenes just basically lead into Age of Ultron, as we've said, as I said in my last review. I do like it because, one, that was at the time our first look into Age of Ultron, so we were gonna get that. We were definitely gonna get that sooner or later. And I'm glad it was with this movie, honestly. I really do. And the second one was Bucky finding out who he was at the Smithsonian. And that's another thing. I want to know if, I mean, I know the movie was shot in Cleveland, but I'm curious as to whether they actually built a Captain America exhibit at the actual Smithsonian. Because that would be cool. Like, people got to go to the making of Captain America at an actual Captain America exhibit at the Smithsonian. That, honestly, I would have been perfectly fine with that, but more likely that didn't happen. Not to mention Gary Sinise is the voice of the exhibit. That was awesome. It's like you want all American shit going on? You call motherfucking Gary Sinise. But yeah, I mean, those were those are scenes that set up the next movies. Those are the stingers that I did kind of miss in phase 2, which is, oh yeah, we're gonna set up the next movie with this little teaser. Because you haven't seen any footage and we want to give it to you. The last time they did that was with Thor: The Dark World, but even then they only did it once, and then like the post-credit scene was just something honestly we could have done without. But here they actually give us lead-ins. They give us lead-ins. Deleted scenes. Honestly, deleted scenes weren't necessary in this, or I couldn't see anything particularly wrong with it. Honestly, I think this is a perfect movie for me, to me anyway. I love this movie way too goddamn much, so yeah. Like I said, final score, 10 out of 10. I love this movie. I love this movie a lot. I really do. So yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this online, and I will be back next time when I review, re-review Guardians of the Galaxy. Until then, you all have yourselves a wonderful night or morning now, since it's 4:18, 4:16 or whatever. So you all have a wonderful night. Bye.